Good afternoon, traders. This is my weekend video, Saturday afternoon here. Snow's melting, and we're having a reprieve in the cold weather here. It's nice. So it's supposed to be sub-zero again in a few days. That kind of sucks. At any rate, I'm based here in Indiana. Please like my video if you get a chance. And I really appreciate some feedback if you can on the comments below the YouTube channel. And retweet me at Gumby9662C on Twitter if you get a chance. And follow me. Appreciate it. Okay, guys. So, bottom line is this is our bigger term time frame. Now, this is a different view a lot than I typically give you guys. Uh, uh, this is my gamma expiration chart and my market maker move chart. Okay, and so basically, what I got going on here, going into Tuesday, we have a put wall around 59.75, and then we have another one at 59.21, and then we have a lot of call wall interest around the 6,100. So be very much 60.80, 6,100. So that pretty much gives us an idea of where we're at. We came into a potential trend line here. Okay, guys. Wait a minute here. I may not turn my after hours on here. Sorry, I turn that back on. Where I had that turned off. That's where I got that trend line. It was the after hour wick there. Okay, guys, and the channel came right up to that channel back test. Basically, we're back testing the breakdown on a very strong short squeeze into that back test. Typically, it's not something you want to be overly short given the strength we came into this back test. Okay, guys. So generally you have to still lean to the greater trend here as a primary theme in that scenario. Just be very mindful of that given how strong of a short squeeze we've had back for the back test. Okay. Now, I would have much rather seen a much slower multiple day move into that back test for the bearish case, which so we have to be very mindful of that. And we also have to be mindful that we did a back on a weekly time frame, the 20 SMA. We came down to the 20 SMA, which has been holding for support on the SPX and ESs and stuff. And we did do a back test, and we're coming off that 20 SMA. Start kicking off earnings season here. Okay. Okay, that gives you some ideas of some of the stuff going on here. And then over here on these shorter lines right here, these are the Friday expirations. Some of our critical Friday uh, gamma expiration levels for Friday going out in the future. We have to be mindful of where those are currently pricing at. Okay, where we could possibly see price heading. This right here, the blue lines right here, they represent the market maker expected moves. This is the close, Friday's close, market maker move high, market maker move low. Okay, guys, kind of some of the themes that we're looking at here. Going in, you see we're into a new wedge formation, uh, and so be very mindful here. We could very well, just knowing our wedging pattern that we got going on here, we could be very well, you know, uh, 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 we could very well not be getting to the expected moves this week, given our how our channels are uh, forming here. So be very mindful of that. Historically, after inauguration, we have 1 to 3 months of downside risk in the market. So be very mindful of that. Historically, it's not good because basically the new administration doesn't do much until April, as a general rule. Uh, it takes them a few months to get all their ducks in a row and stuff. Okay, so we have to be mindful of that. So some things I got going on here, and so we got two big gaps below us here, and some of these are fair value gaps, and how I get these fair value gaps, I base that off market webs. Okay, guys. So I bring up my market webs, and I did this on the daily time frame. I'm sorry, I had to go down 30 minutes. No, I did it on the weekly. I'm sorry. I'm mistaken on that. On the weekly. Okay. And there is a fair value gap right below here. See this little void right here? That's a fair value gap that has not been back tested. So we came up Friday, and it was just right out of the gate, took off into our trend line, but we have not filled that fair value gap. I think it's a very, very high odds this week that we're going to back test and fill this fair value gap in the ESs here. So this fair value gap, I think, is fully in play. This right here is a true gap. Okay, this right here we could very well be uh, trying to backfill this entire gap from the Friday move up. That could very well be the case. And like I said, we're in this wedging formation here, so we're into a different arena right here. Okay, guys. So be very mindful of that in your trading. Okay. Some other takeaways I do want to take out on our charts. You see this prior swing high right here. We pushed out and above that prior swing high, so that should act as support. That's 6085. Uh, six at 6,085. Go back down your 1 hour here. 6,085. Let's zoom in here real quick, and I'll show you guys 6,000. So 6,085 is right below this fair value gap. Okay, guys. So basically, we would be, if we came back down, we would be doing a back test of that prior all-time high to fill this fair value gap. So that'd be my primary thesis to kick off the week. We did also, after CPI came out, we had this massive fair value gap here. I got a red line here marking it so it shows up on my chart through the double rectangles. And, this is a fair value gap based off of volume profile. And this is based off of the gap from the prior day's close to the prior day's opening low, opening priors the next day's low print. Okay, and this is the true gap, the green, where this is a volume profile fair value gap. Okay, it's generally a lot easier to fill fair value gaps on a back test than it is a true gap. Okay, let's be very mindful of that. This should be secure, but you never know. I mean, in this market, all I know for sure this year, we're going to have a lot of volatility. Okay. So be very mindful of that. Now, if I go down my 5 minute time frame, 1 day, 5 minute, and go over to my volume high percent, I just want to point out the internals weren't that great as the day progressed there Friday. So be very mindful of that. So the biggest order in the morning session was a sell order. So we had institutional selling coming in right at 9:30, okay, on the big gap up, okay. And then the second big order was the sell side order into the close. So be very mindful of that going forward in our trading, okay. Now we'll just start on this chart on NQs here. Zoom in here. How do we start today? Big sell side order, okay. And we ended the day mixed. And the end of the day really was mixed there, okay, guys. So be very mindful of that here on the NQs on this chart. If I go back over to start here on the blank one on the daily, 9 month daily, okay. We had this prior high right here, prior high print. So that's 21.514.30. 21.514.30. Where is that at? 21.514. This is a big back test, critical back test area, 21.514.30. I should have already had this on there. Give me a second. So basically what we got going on in Qs here, we have one really standout fair value gap here. So price should not break this fair value gap going forward here. Basically, if we break this fair value gap, then you have to actually you can actually opens the door for swing shorts if we start losing 21,136. 21,136, that would actually open the door for swing shorts. Until that point in time, these are buy the dip scenarios here. So we got two massive gaps here, okay? And the upper gap actually repaired a lot of the Friday. The structure isn't that bad here, as bad as it is on the ESs, okay, the structure wise. We did come up to this trend line back test, very critical. I do want to point here also on the 9 month. This back test right here lines up with this high. So this back test lines up with this swing high right here. Heads up on that. So ordinarily what I would be doing in this situation, knowing that this back test, this high, well, it's not quite, we actually push up a little bit further for that high, but you see that this is a daily high right there. This push up, this daily high right here, then it found some resistance. Typically, I would actually have been looking for shorts at this point for this this dual uh, resistance area. I would have been looking for potential swing shorts going into Tuesday. So be very mindful. Yeah, the only problem is you got all these gaps below us here. And this one here does seem to be repaired better than, like I said, the ESs. So be very mindful of that going forward in your trading here. So just a few little takeaways I got going here. But bottom line is, like I said, the ES, I'm looking for a back test. This one here looks like it's uh, potentially repaired better than the others. Now, that all being said, I typically go down to the 5 minute to finish it off here, go over the volume percent here, and I see how the price action. So we had large selling on the open. So we had large selling down here on our open. Okay, but not, it really mixed. And I think it's since the profile and stuff was repaired better on the NASDAQ, I think this may have something to do with how we didn't have any type of really large institutional sellers on the close there. So on the NASDAQ. So be mindful of that going forward on your trading. So we had a fairly large institutional seller right out of the gate there Friday. And then we had another one there into the close Friday here on the Russell. So be mindful of that. Go back on my daily real quick, 9 months. Okay, guys. So we had this trend right here, and it looks like we may not have completed to the upside on that trend. So be very mindful of that. Got uh, you know, these we do have, potential swing highs just a little bit higher. Uh, so be very mindful here. We do have let's see here and put blank on here. So Tuesday expiration, we do have a big uh, call wall around the 2300, and we backed off of that there Friday. So be very mindful here. We start going above 2300, we get into positive gamma situation, and we can be going up into that trend line. I would think the odds favor this more than anything that I've showed you so far, that we are going into a positive gamma to kick off the administration, possibly going up and back testing this trend line. So, just be very mindful of that. I don't know for sure, but that would be my best guess. Uh, so definitely we got to keep this on watch going forward into our trading this week. Okay. Anything else I can sit here and say? Give me 1 second. So one little takeaway that I got going on here, it's less likely that the Russell will actually fill its gap because it has actually repaired any type of fair value gap at these higher prices. So I mean, between the two, the ES or ESs are more likely to to repair their fair value gap to the downside versus the Russell here. So be very mindful of that. They both can do it. Don't get me wrong, and this gap can be filled on the Russell. I'm just saying, if you're betting on the odds, if you trying to look for a directional short, you would really lean more to the ESs versus the Russell, in my opinion, and the NASDAQ. So just heads up on that going into Tuesday. Okay. An outside trade really caught my interest here. That is Oracle, guys. So any of you guys who are swing traders, just something we might want to watch. We had a strong buyer coming in on the open there Friday, and even a stronger person coming in on the close on Oracle there Friday, on the ask side. So just be very mindful of that. If you look at Oracle on the bigger time frame, it has been decimated since earnings. So it did look like to me like there was some sort of institutional buyer coming into this trade. So something we definitely want to keep on watch going forward. Some other quick things that I looked at here. I was looking at how we were having big prints at 4 o'clock on like NVDA, and we actually had big prints at 9:32. Okay, so I was really looking and seeing what was going on some of these trades going forward here. NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, those are the top three. And my main takeaway is we had a big money seller on or a trade on the bid at the open, and we had a big trade on the bid at the close. So this suggests to me a little bit more bearish institutional participation on NVIDIA going into next week. Okay. Another one, I've seen flows coming into Microsoft. Uh, or there's been a lot of flows in Microsoft. So we got a mixed read on Microsoft today. We had a strong sell on Microsoft at the open, and then it looked like somebody was trying to come in by the dip there at the close. So it's a mixed read here on Microsoft going into next week. Apple, important to note this, guys. Strong sell on the open, strong sell on the close. So I'm looking at NVIDIA and Apple both going into the new presidency, potentially giving us bearish signals here. So be very mindful of that. Okay. On the flip side, some of the banks, very strong buy order on JP Morgan at the open. And we even seemingly had an additional buy order here at the close on JP Morgan, suggesting that could be supportive of the Russell. So in ranking that I do want to point out here, I do want to point out Meta had a massive sell order ended last year. So you have to, and we've been seeing routinely a lot of weakness here recently. And so some people are saying relative strength, but I do want to suggest here Meta. Uh, we got some institutional selling here. I do think we're going into earnings on Meta peak earnings season. So I think we're post-election, and all that spending for the election and stuff. That's going to make for a very good earnings result on Meta and anything in media. Okay, and I do think we're moving into a peak. We're going to be moving out of peak media's earnings cycle. So be very mindful of that in your trading going forward here. Meta and then Tesla was next on the some of these end of day trades. What did I get? It looked like there were still buyers coming into Tesla going into the inauguration. Heads up on that, and then finally Amazon. And what we had on Amazon here. Mixed read again. Very strong seller at the open, very strong buyer at the close. Okay, guys. So, a little bit of mixed reads here, guys. So be very mindful of what I'm showing here, guys. Bottom line is, I'm thinking we need to repair some structure and digest here. So we're probably going into at least the first of the week and doing some repair work of the structure to the downside initially. I don't know if it'll last half a day or a couple days, I really don't know, but I do think it makes sense that the markets are going to try to repair themselves before they push any further higher. So, thanks a lot for listening, and I will see you in the trading. Okay. Oh, I did make my entire month's goal today, Friday. So I was done in 12 minutes, made my entire month's goal. So I was really happy for that. See you later.